matey?
Can't see a damn thing, but I got my Yacht Rock stuff on.
I can't wait.
I'm doing this because of the poll that was taken.
Yeah, I know. I'm not holding no camera for 2 hours for that.
Yes, you are. Oh man,
Yacht Rock, come on,
dude. There's a lot of great music. Don't knock it. No, we don't want you to taint the what people want.
People don't know what they want till you show it to them.
That's
chops. Whatever.
I'm wearing this specifically for Mike Dermont.
No, it looks great. I'm jelly. You finally got your swag going. I'm very.
I got lots of hats. Yeah, great show, man, on Saturday at the Station 34.
Yeah, where is that place?
It's the old blues bar in Mount Prospect, right in downtown Mount Prospect.
Oh yeah, right by.
Yeah, so the Mosquitos had a show. That was our opening show for 2025, kicking off 25 years as a band.
Oh, happy birthday! You gonna do a birthday party?
Just actually we had Agent 126 and his crew were there. That's Art Scheer. He was there and celebrated his birthday on Saturday. We'll put his picture right here.
Right here.
Here.
Where does he get the Agent 126 from?
Because that's how he remembers everyone's name. He won't remember. Well, he'll remember your name, but he'll remember your birthday. Because he's a numbers guy. So he's Agent 126.
Okay.
Agent 126.
Got it. Okay.
Actually, it was on Sunday, but he had his crew out on Saturday, and we made it a party, and it was great. We had a great turnout, and we had a fun show, and lots of new songs, which is always exciting. And Art came up. He did Cheap Sunglasses, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, and Domino from Band Wars. Yeah.
So that place, from what I remember, you can see it from the tracks, I think, and
yes,
you have the glass windows there where you play up against.
Yes.
Pretty okay. Yeah. That's the place.
Yeah. It used to be the blues bar, and it used to have the Bluesmobile, from the Blues Brothers. The car used to be over the stage, and they actually had a permanent stage in there. And this was back when the previous owner had it, way before it was Station 34. And then they closed down, and when they reopened, they were called something else. They went through a couple of different names, settled on Station 34. They got a great chef over there that does the cooking. I tell you, they got great food. They got Detroit-style pizza. Good appetizers, great beer selection. And if you want to go watch a game, it's a pretty good sports bar. I mean, they got a lot of TVs, and it's got that atmosphere. So it's really a fun place, but they added a stage this for last week, because there was bands Friday and Saturday. There was a band on Friday. We were on Saturday. And then they got a thing called the Cabin Fever Festival this weekend. And they've got, I want to say there's like 8 bands, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8 bands. There's 2 on Friday. Our friend Pino Farina at 10 p.m. on Friday. Saturday, they've got a couple bands early on, like at 1 in the afternoon and 5 at night. And I forget who the bands are at night. There's a couple bands. I might be Serendipity and maybe Oh Yes, possibly.
Okay. All right.
And then Sunday they got 2 more bands. So they're doing like a little festival. So I think that's one reason why they put this, removable stage in there. But it was nice being up on the stage because, you're elevated a little bit. And, when you're not elevated, if you're past the first 10 people, you don't see the band. You just hear them,
right. Here comes.
So that was fun. That was a good time. There's Mike Dermont.
MD
in the house.
What's up, boys? Captain Stubing. So great to see you this evening.
Do you know why I got this on, Mike?
Love Boat. Yacht Rock? So you think it's a done deal? Are you lobbying for a vote, or you think it's a done deal? We're going Yacht Rock.
I'm just lobbying. I don't know anything about votes or anything. I'm lobbying for it.
You're lobbying for it. So I gotta
Jesus.
clean my
We
screen
got
out.
3 mics here.
I know.
Mike and
How the
Mike.
hell am I going to figure?
But here's the most impressive thing. You have 3 mics, 2 Mike D's. Look at that. 2 Mike D's.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, did you like call in?
No,
I can't
man.
wait. I can't wait till we get Mike Olivero on here, and then we'll have 2 Mike O's.
2 Mike. That's right.
Mikey,
Well, then I might have to invite another Mike D back. We'll have like a little war of the mics, man.
little something before I forget. We'll get to you, Mikey D. Number 2 is Mike Oliveira, his brother or cousin or whatever. I met him at the Coterie event.
Coterie.
His cousin, and I guess we worked together back in the day at Mother's. Small world.
Wow.
Well, was it his cousin or his brother Frank?
Brother Frank.
Brother Frank, yeah.
With the messed up ankle. Did
he have a messed up ankle?
He had crutches. Yeah, crutches.
Oh, then that wasn't Brother Frank.
That wasn't him.
No.
I must have been a cousin.
All right. So there you go.
All right.
So now we got Mikey D. Number 2. This is technically pre-show chat.
Yes.
All right.
But this is where the best stuff comes out. This is like the appetizer.
Great.
If you order like the calamari, you're in good shape. You don't know what the main course is going to be, but stick to the calamari. And there you go.
Mikey D, we're going to talk punk rock. What are we going to do here? Porkchop?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Porkchop right now. He should be with us shortly.
Well, let's talk some smack on him while we're waiting.
Yeah, man.
I just got to say something before we go. If you call up Mikey D, Pete, you're going to really mess with my head because that's normally what you call me. So we need to establish some ground rules. What the hell's my name?
How about
Agent 214?
Agent 126, 121. I almost said 126. That's our agent.
Our share.
You could just do MD if you would like. I can go off MD.
MD, that works.
Oh, don't worry.
The doctor is in.
So, Mikey Dermont, are you recovered from the Coterie event yet?
I am. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. The steam was rolling from that one. We were so blessed last week. We got a lot of mileage out of that one. A lot of people talking about a lot of videos, and following up on that, we did a quick fan poll for the next Coterie event, and we listed 4 different genres of music, and yacht rock is taking it away. I know I know. I was pushing for the original stuff, but yacht rock.
Yeah.
I also think Canadian rock got some legs.
So it was, what was it? It's yacht rock, Canadian rock, the original. So Chicago bands doing their music and playing other music from Chicago bands like Styx and so on and so forth.
That's cool.
And then what was the 4th one I put on there? Mike, I'm drawing a blank.
Disney classics.
That's it, man. Let it snow. Disney classic. I got no strings to hold me down. That's a Disney classic.
The good news is we gotta note it. $7,000 raised. The most for any Coterie event.
Yeah, that hit the highest. It was a great event. We did great at the door, right? I know we had over 400 people there at the show, so we raised money there. Our bucket girl Beth ran around. She collected over a G. There was online donations of over a G, so they did really well. Hats off.
Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
it was awesome.
Stevie B. Stevie B's in the house in the hizzy. Is it Stevie Porkchop or Stevie Bradshaw?
Whatever. My wife gave me the nickname Porkchop, and it's just stuck with me. But nobody outside of Facebook calls me that. I'm just
fair enough.
Steve,
can you move the Porkchop away from your camera?
There we go. Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
we got the show.
We got this technology thing figured out.
Yeah.
Not all of us. Not me.
No, not all of us. No.
So welcome, gents, to the Hogpod podcast with the only show on the internet with 3 mics on and
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So Porkchop, Steve, how did we get together? We did Facebook because I'm the best on Facebook Messenger. Let me tell you.
Actually, I would say Beth is the best.
Beth is the best. How did it all happen?
So I just was randomly, we started playing and we're like, man, we need to figure out how we can like play shows. And so I Googled Chicago music podcast, and you guys are the first one that came up. I think you might be the only one.
Oh,
And so
First
I
I
was
like
like,
it.
I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And then when I started listening, I think the first episode I listened to was the one with, I forget his name, from the talent buyer from the Cubby Bear. Listening, and I sent it to Mike. I was like, this is kind of a resource for us.
Yeah.
So we've been listening every week, trying to get, I don't know. I think that was our one Achilles heel, I feel like. And Mike has played in cover bands, and I was in the Army for the last 20 years. So I know nothing about any kind of music scene. So being able to listen and see, is this frustrating? When we were young, I didn't know that like clubs had to make money. I was just like, my band's cool. Play, like, let us play. What's your problem?
so how did you guys get into punk? I'm a big fan. I'm just telling you, 1976 was a great year, but how did you guys get started in it? You still doing punk or faster metal? What do you call it?
It's rock. I don't know.
Yeah, hard rock.
People have called us grunge. I don't know. We play with a lot of punk bands. Because that's, I feel like, the people out there doing the scene. But when we were in high school, and we were drinking Red Wolf beer. I don't know if you guys remember that.
No.
Red Wolf.
It was like everybody had an amber lager at one point, and it was just gross. But anyway, so we're drinking.
Where was this?
Well, I would say, where'd you grow up?
Yeah, it's 95, 96.
It was probably it's probably 95. We grew up in
95.
Brookfield. Mike and I have known each other since the 6th grade. We've been friends since the 6th grade.
Chicagoland area?
Yeah, Brookfield.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brookfield.
Yeah.
Brookfield, the Southsiders drink that? Come on, it's nothing but old style.
That's all they serve at the zoo. Red Wolf.
Yeah. So I just thought it was like, we should form a band. We don't have, none of us were like athletes or anything. We weren't really doing anything. So, we formed a band, and we were one of the only bands in our school. So, we played a lot of parties and a lot of, the gigs that you play when you're under 21. And then eventually we got into the bar scene when we were 21, and it kind of started to navigate it. We were playing a lot, playing like 2 or 3 shows a month and practicing all the time. And, we were going to make it. And then 9/11 happened. And I was like, well, we got to go fight. And then Mike and our old guitar player were like, well, no, we don't. And so I joined the Army and wound up doing 20 years. And I stayed in contact with Mike. I've always been close. And so I was retiring. My wife got a job up here. And so I was like, hey, we're moving back. Let's start playing again. And we're here.
Yeah, and I was like, if we're
Thank
gonna,
you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for paying your taxes.
and we're like, if we're gonna get together and play music and write music again, it's gonna sound like it was before. It's gonna sound like Tractorboy. So it's kind of full circle with us. We're pretty excited.
I have to ask you a question, the obvious question. Where did you get the name Tractorboy?
2 things. One of them was before I joined the band, I was on the wrestling team. And when we go to these wrestling meets, on the way back, if we didn't have a good meet, everyone would just be depressed. And we'd always be like out in the, field, out in the cornfields at these other schools. So I just kind of put a Southern accent on and would jump around the bus and try to make everyone happy. The coach would call me Tractor Boy. And then when we were coming up with a name that night, we were in the middle of a cornfield because we're at my uncle's. He had like a piece of lot in Sandwich. And we were like, I was like, what about Tractor Boy? And they're like, that makes sense. We'll call ourselves Tractor Boy. And it just started that night. It was in the middle of Sandwich, Illinois, in the middle of a cornfield. It made sense. And we've been doing that ever since.
Well, I guess it's better than naming it bologna sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Slightly.
So what kind of influences, like what you guys are saying, you guys are doing covers and originals. What kind of music are you guys covering, and what are you doing for the originals? What would you compare it to?
I think as far as covers go, anything that we put, like right now, we kind of play around with Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix. And our guitar player is a huge Hendrix fan. And then Mountain Mississippi Queen. which is something we played back in the day. We used to play Creedence. We'd play a lot of Creedence covers. We would play at this bar called Brixie's.
Oh yeah, I know that place. It has a
You make
garage
bad
door.
decisions too. All right.
Yeah, we actually have a live recording we did there at Brixie's on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's not there anymore, but it's cool to have and listen to, and you know. But anyways, Steve.
But yeah, so we would do. We had to play for like 3 hours, and we just learned a bunch of Creedence Clearwater Revival covers, and kind of played them.
We'd have a whole set. Whole set of it.
And so we would do that and kind of play it heavier, you know. And then as far as our original stuff, though, I don't know. It's just I don't look at myself as a musician, so I'm like, I don't know. It just comes out. I can't explain it, you know. I like in terms of bands that are popular that people have heard of. I'd say like Helmet, Black Sabbath, and Led Zeppelin. I think are the two big ones, but like some of the 90s bands, you know, like Soundgarden, Helmet, big huge fan of Clutch. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Oh,
Yeah, Melvins. You know, I try to instill a little Melvins in there in terms of drums and stuff. Just, you know, hard, heavy rock with an alternative twist. But I don't know. It's ours too. You know, I think we all try to be ourselves in the band, and I think it comes through, you know, as original in terms of sound.
Well, I like what I'm hearing, man, because you know it's not the same thing that everybody says, right? So, who are some of your influence? Well, we like REO Speedwagon, we like Styx, Little Journey, and nothing wrong with those bands, man.
No, they're great.
You know what? It's nice to hear. I'm going to call it, you know, refreshing music because it's different than everything else. When you said Creedence, man, you got my attention. You said you used to play a lot of Creedence. Did you play Lodi? Because that's one of my favorite freaking Creedence songs. Lodi?
Lodi? No.
Oh,
We did play Heard It Through the Grapevine, and we would do that for like 15 minutes.
Yeah. You have to when you're doing a 3-hour set. You got to find
exactly.
You got to find those jam songs, right?
But yeah, we hit all the up tempo stuff, you know, all the stuff that got people kind of moving a little bit. It was fun though, man. We would go there, we'd play a 45-hour-minute set of CCR, and then we'd take a small break, and then we would just close the night out with originals, and everyone was digging it.
So Mikey D, you said I think you said you're the drummer, right?
Correct.
And Steve, you said you're not a musician, so are you the singer?
No, I sing and play bass.
I always say that I'm a singer, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm not a musician. I'm just a singer."
Yeah, I don't have to carry anything.
Nice.
But yeah, and I play. You know, I just my association with musicians is, you know, you don't always get emailed or called back. There's a lot of lateness. Time as a relative thing, and with my background, it doesn't work for me. So I'm like, I'm not a musician. I'm not in your world. I'm just here playing, you know.
I'm a caveman. I don't understand your world. It's totally broke into a Phil Hartman skit, man.
Yeah, exactly like that, dude.
That's awesome.
Our guitar player is like super into theory, and I mean he's incredibly talented. His name is Raul. And he'll be like, "Oh, see that riff that you wrote, it's in this it's this scale, but and you're playing it." And I'm like, "These are I don't understand. I hate you right now. Don't say these words to me."
Don't complicate this stuff, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome. So where are you guys gigging at right now? I mean, so, you know, the type of music you play, we all get kind of lumped into, you know, our type of music, and then certain clubs gravitate towards that. Where are you guys playing at mostly right now?
Because it's interesting because we're, you know, I've been doing the cover band, you know, thing for a while, and the clubs are different. You know, I was telling the guys, I was like, you know, it's, the scene's different, but the game's the same, you know, like it's, the clubs are different. Like we play Reggie's. We've been playing Reggie's a couple times. Love that place. I mean, just in terms of a club that just embraces rock music, you know, we played the Rock Room. We played the you know, there's like a dinner set kind of stage set up over there. They have it upstairs, and right now we're playing wherever we can. You know, it's, to be honest with you guys, it's going from playing festivals and, you know, cool gigs like that where you're playing in front of a good amount of people to switching and being happy with just playing in front of 30 people in a small bar. I love it because I'm doing something that I really love doing, and I could take all this music, all these drummers I learned from all these bands that I just learned, and kind of infuse that. So, you know, in terms of like clubs, smaller clubs right now, but, you know,
Yeah.
We're grinding. We know we're starting from the bottom, and we're willing to play
Right
and
on.
do the gigs we
We're
need
willing
to.
to stay there.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
Reggie's does a really good job of bringing in original bands with original music, and I mean, I think they have music 6 nights a week. I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen their schedule, so it's great being able to use that as an outlet. It's a way to get in front of people, and I mean, I don't get down there that much at South Loop, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I always
Southside,
see
baby.
what's on their schedule. It always seems like they're really focusing in. They'll bring 2, 3 bands in on a night,
Oh yeah.
and not a lot of places are doing that.
I,
No.
I was always impressed with the technical setup that they had at Reggie's because, you know, you can go on Twitch, they have their automatic cameras, crystal clear, the sound. I don't think anybody's got a better system than that. And I ask all the bar owners, hey man, you ever going to get any video going in here? I get the same thing. Well, nobody will show up. I mean, what is this? The Chicago Bears in the 70s? We're gonna have a
I
blackout
know.
Gotta
games.
black out the games, man. Gotta black out the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's great what they're doing though, for sure. With
Yeah.
the live streaming, because you could just go and be like, I missed the band, but they're right there. I can listen to what I'm
Yeah.
watching right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still like kind of in the infancy too. We're still writing. I think we've probably got probably about an hour's worth of material right now, maybe a little bit more. Because we work full time, and then we all have families, and so we get like 3 hours a week together. So trying to maximize that and get the most out of that as possible, and then not play, because we played, since we've been back together, we played a basement party, we played at Elks Lodges, like we've done these things where it's just we're playing with friends, trying to transition to like a more working band where we're going out and actually getting paid for our efforts, however little. It's difficult, and again, I think I don't know how to talk to club owners. I don't know how to talk, I don't know what they want to hear. So it's difficult. Again, I'm grateful for you guys kind of sharing all that collective knowledge. And
Yeah,
bringing
what do they
it
want to
on.
know? You're grinding right now, and there's a bunch of there's more of you than everybody else. So what do you do?
I guess ask questions, and like, well, the big thing that I realized from listening to Bonnie from the Broken Oar, and then I forget the guy's name from Rookie's Rock House, but it's like
Bob
Bob
Koza.
Koza.
that's right.
Robert Koza.
And I was going to bring that up. I'll let you finish your thought, but let's go back to Bob Koza when you're done.
Yeah, like understanding, going back to what I said earlier, like they need to make money. Like you can't show up and just be a good band, because we played those shows where we show up and people are like, oh, you were great. You brought 5 people though. So like, can you bring more? And it's like, how do you do that? And that's where we're kind of working on right now, is like, go into a venue with a bill, go into a venue with a show, go into a venue with another band who draws there, like that's where we're kind of working towards. I think that's the next step.
Would you say that your fan base, the people that know you guys, are primarily based in the southern or the south suburbs? Like in,
Yeah.
I mean, if that's where they're at, that's where it's more difficult if you're playing a place like Rookie's Rock House.
Yeah.
It might be an hour drive for your fans to go to, and are they going to travel? That's always hard.
Yeah, that's the hearing that too, when Bob was like, hey, if you're from the south side, like I don't really want to book you up here. And I was like, that hurts, but it makes sense. I understand, and
yeah, it does make sense, And when I was in a band called Friction for 12 years, it was a cover band. And we were managed by Richie Hoffer from Seventh Heaven under his label NTD Management, and we booked through Joey DeMarco, and they were very consistent on how they wanted to manage our band. Their method of growth was, you need to find an area where you're successful, and then you just need to concentrate on an area. Don't be playing up in McHenry County, then shoot down to Will County and over to Page County. Oh, let's go grab Cook County, because what happens is you're not putting that concentrated effort, right? I mean, from a strategy, from a strategical perspective, you want to be able to concentrate all your firepower into one area, right? It's the same thing in a band.
Yeah, now you're talking my language.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, right? I mean, you want the largest center of mass. That's what you want to aim for. So if you're focusing in on your grounds, which is the Brookfield area or that area, there, saturate the hell out of it. Play as much as you can. It's going to suck, right? You're going to play the same places, but hopefully if you're doing a good job, you're building a buzz, and then you start moving outside of that circle, and don't go from Cook County all the way out to freaking, Will County, DuPage County, let's say, you're further out, Kendall, whatever the hell's out there. You want to do it from a strategic perspective. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing your tails. Now, I will say this though, however, going back to Bob Koza, while he says, I won't book your band, I still think Bob can help you from the perspective that on Thursday nights, he does an all original thing. And you may not get paid for it, but if you can go in there and wow the fans, wow the people, it could get you a spot on another act. And that's one of the ways that I built my band too, right? I wasn't trying to be the headliner. I always used to make a joke with the guys in the band. I want to be the best opening act out there. There's two reasons. One, we got off the stage a lot sooner.
Yeah. I like that.
And we got it in this, but the real reason was, if we're the best act, we usually have a good headliner. We're going to start pulling their fans our way, right? So we build our base that way. So there was a little strategy around that. I never wanted to be the headliner. That's too much work, man. I wanted the easy button.
Yeah, and now that I we're in our 40s now, like I don't want to go on stage at
you're old, dude.
Yeah, damn.
Well, I got to get up. I got kids. I got to wake up. And you want me on stage at 11 o'clock on a night?
Exactly.
It doesn't sound very rock and roll when you say those things. I was telling somebody about our upcoming gigs in March, and I'm like, yeah, it's a Sunday fun day afternoon, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. They're like, ugh, and I'm like, yeah, it's great. Are you kidding? I'm home by 6 o'clock at night.
Right.
I'm not fucking around. Hauling equipment at 2 a.m. That sucks.
Yep, I know that game. So
we're playing that game, but again, you can't. This is it's a different game, a different scene up it, because it's just we're gonna have to start, like you said, and it's just kind of focus on one area and just slowly
build your
grow.
base.
With us, it's like with the club owner you just mentioned, like. Those are great. Like a Thursday night local. That's a great thing, because as an original band, we're actually looking to show up and sell merch, because that's how we're going to build. It's a little different when you're playing on a cover band or a tribute band. You're looking to make money off the gig itself. Where an original band, you're looking to show up and sell as much merch as you can, so that money will provide you more recording, will provide you better merch. You can keep the machine going. So.
Exactly.
Are you guys? Is there a way that folks can find your music? Is it on Spotify? It is. Okay.
So we over the pandemic, I decided I'm going to upload all the stuff we recorded earlier. So we have all the stuff from 99 or 98, 2000, and then our last recording was at Brixie's at 2001, and then right after that, that was pretty much that was December after September 11th. Then he joined the Army, I think, in spring. Yeah. But then we came back. When we came back, we wrote some material. We wrote a good amount of songs, and then it's like, let's just record them quick. So we have the new material out there while we're playing. And so that's out there on Spotify. So it's Tractorboy.
We'll get it loaded up right here.
Awesome.
Here.
Here.
Yeah. But Tractorboy, Barnyard Conspiracies is the new album.
Okay, cool.
We're excited about it. Cool. And then you could find us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, Tractorboy. Yep. I believe it's Tractorboy Band. Yeah. And tractorboyband.com is our website. So
nice.
How about
we're
Facebook
doing it, man.
page?
We're going for it.
Yep. We have Facebook and Instagram.
Perfect.
No TikTok yet.
I don't have it either.
I don't do it, but I've got enough between Facebook and Instagram that I don't feel like I need a third.
I thought the name of the band was Porkchop. I really like that.
We might have to name an album Porkchop.
Yeah,
Dong Porkchop
and applesauce. One of the strategies I didn't hear anybody bring up yet, or on the show in general. If you're starting up and you got some content, some videos and some recordings. Has anybody worked on Gig Salad or The Bash or anything like that?
I'm not familiar with either of those.
Those are the sites you use for the private parties. and maybe you're spending two to 500 a year on it. And I've gotten some pretty good gigs back in the day, off of that. And I don't see a lot of people taking advantage of it. I see the freebie side of things, but if you have the video, which I've seen that you've had on there, a corporate gig, pays more and expects less than a club owner. I'm just
I'm
So what
into
were
it.
those sites, Pete? Gig Salad, and what was the other one?
Gig Salad and the Bash. Gig Salad, I want to say, is probably maybe 500 a year to go in there.
And that's a good point. You got to spend money to make money, right? You can't, and that's the constant battle we have. I mean, going back to the dawn of of music, it's always that not argument, but you have the conversation with a club owner. Well, how many people can you bring in? Well, how many people does your club draw? It's just constantly back and forth because nobody really wants to. I'm not going to say put the effort in, but let's just use that word effort or resources to build your brand. Every successful company, business, whatever it is, and you guys, you said something really important. You don't play those gigs for the money you make off the show. You play those gigs to sell the merch, to put back in the band. It's the same concept, man. Put that money into that. Pete Shaker.
And to get exposure on your original music. I mean, that's what you're trying to get out there.
Yeah.
And the more you get out there, the more people you meet. So we've been doing some shows with a group of punk bands you mentioned earlier called Punk Rock Tacos, and they do a lot of they get a bunch of bands together, and they're doing some stuff. So we kind of joined forces with them.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, they have a pretty cool story too. During the pandemic, a guy who we met who puts all the shows on, who we met through a friend of ours who we'd known he was a roommate at one point, known him for 30 years. This guy, his name is Noah. He went to this Mexican restaurant around the corner from his house all the time, and they had a stage, and he was like, "Can I book a band here?" And they were like, "Okay." And so he just started doing punk rock shows in a Mexican restaurant. Try it on. It's in your neck of the woods, Mike D. It's in Villa Park, because you're out by Carroll Stream. Is that right? I thought
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I used to live out there too.
Okay.
But they just started having bands play, and they've had some like bigger bands. I don't know if you guys remember the Dickies. They're like an older punk band. They're a national touring act. The Bo-Weevils.
Oh yeah, I remember those guys.
And a couple other bands they've had coming through, and they have like it'd be a group of 22-year-olds playing just crusty hardcore punk, and then you'll have a group of like guys our age playing our stuff.
How big of a place is it? I mean, I think of a taco joint. Mexican restaurant. I don't really think of a big stage.
It's not. No, it's a small stage. I mean, you have more than 4 dudes up there, or more 4 individuals up there. Yeah, it's and a small system, and they have a back line, but it's cool. Like there's 19-year-olds. It's all ages, and so there's younger kids, and there's people our age, there's people older, and everybody's just there. And it's a pretty decent restaurant too. It's called Semita's Poblanos on North and 355. But it's that was a kind of a cool genesis of meeting people through there. And I feel like as an original band, it's a lot about networking.
Oh, 100%.
I
think it's about any band. It's about networking, man. The more people you know out there, the more marketing and mileage you have, as long as you know them in a good sense. Because if it's a bad sense, it could do you in too.
Yeah. So, but I think we that kind of, I was like, this kind of is about networking, isn't it? It's weird because I'm going back and learning all the things that 17-year-old me just wasn't picking up. But like, it's about networking. I don't know if you guys remember. This reminds me of a story. The band we played with the band Loudmouth at Champs Rock Room in Burbank, and Loudmouth. So we showed up to Champs. We had a really successful night at our open mic night, and they called us that, I think it was the next week, and they're like, "Do you guys want to open for?" I can't remember. They were a huge Metallica cover band.
Blackened.
It might have been Blackened or
a local one or a national tour.
Local.
Okay.
Local, but they opened for. Is Blackened did Blackened open for Metallica at Rosemont?
That I don't know.
Okay, there was a Metallica cover band that opened for them at one point.
They did?
I'm just saying
So,
yes for story's sake.
Sure.
Oh,
No, they had opened for that. I don't know. They had, and the place was packed, and we knocked it out of the park. And they were like, "Cool, man, you guys can come play here. You guys start gigging here." And that was our start there. So we thought at like 21 years old, we're going to run the table here. We're going to be the kings of Champs Rock Room. And Loudmouth was like the undisputed heavyweights there. So they'd have shows, and they were like selling out. They were packed. And they broke up and some of the guys from Loudmouth went on to form Disturbed. So they came to an open mic night and were like, "Oh, hey guys, hey, you got to check out our new band." And we're like, "Yeah, well, we kind of run this place now, you know." And they handed us their demo tape, and we listened to it in Mike's Grand Prix on the way home. And we're like, "Oh, this sucks. It's terrible. Nobody will ever listen to this. This is not good music." And, you see how that worked out. But yeah, the club owner wound up selling the club and using that money to produce the first Disturbed record, which is probably one of the smarter moves. But yeah, so that was that. And looking back on that now, what I would have done is said, "Yes, I'll come see your show. Hey, do you need an opener? What can we do?"
Yeah.
But
we had the guitarist from Loudmouth on like 5 episodes ago, didn't we?
Yeah. He's playing with oh god, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Taran in the night club. Taran. Yeah, the night club.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Taran.
Yeah.
it was just like 3 weeks ago. That's why it sounds so familiar.
When he said, I played in Loudmouth, and I was like, "Oh, no way. I played with Loudmouth."
We blew him off the stage, man.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's how that went.
Yeah, in his mind, that's how it played out. But yeah, that was a cool scene though. Champs Rock Room back then, there was a lot of buzz going on there. I mean, what he's saying is, I mean, we felt like because we were there and all the buzz and like bands were starting to get signed, we were gonna like it was just natural to happen to us, and it didn't. And it was like, that's just how it is, man. That's the honest truth about this industry. It's like, don't ever think you have it because you never do, and you got to work for every fan, every dime, every penny you get, But I don't know, I love it, and I know Steve loves it. I know Raul, this guy we have playing guitar with us, he loves it. So
yeah,
are you guys a 4-piece or a 3-piece?
Just 3.
Oh, okay.
Power trio. We're trying to do
Rush. Do any Rush?
Yeah.
Bring back the Rush, all those old trio, Nirvana.
Nice.
Zebra.
Crosby,
What's that?
Stills, Nash.
Zebra.
Zebra?
You remember those guys?
I am not familiar with Zebra.
Oh yeah.
They were the poor man's Rush.
They do a little Three Dog Night. They got it all going on.
Oh yeah.
The poor man's Rush. So what clubs have you guys, like, when you think about, stretching out, and I know we talked about focusing on your territory, but when you think about, like, we're out in the burbs, right? I'm out in Carroll Stream.
Yeah.
There's not many clubs anymore. I went to go see Modern Day Romeo's Saturday, and the lead singer Jim was talking about that. There used to be a nice area of clubs out here. We had Chicago City Limits, you had Bannerman, Shark City, which was Q Bar. Now there's only one place left. I mean, so your pickings are getting kind of slim.
Yeah.
Let's think about it. Where would you like to see yourselves playing at?
Well,
I mean,
we were
I don't know.
like, when we first started playing, we were like, we got to break into the city.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks ago, we were talking, and I was like, dude, like, maybe we just don't do that. And I think, like, some of the clubs that are out west, Rookie's Rock House looks amazing. I'd love to play there. I've heard they treat the bands great, and I've heard that the green room's really cool. So places like that, I would love to play the Salt Shed downtown, Cobra Lounge, but more places out west, I think, because I feel like if you live in the West Burbs, you're willing to drive, 20 minutes to a show, as opposed to if you live in the city, like those people go to those bars and that's that, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, and the social club in West Chicago,
WC Social.
Yeah, that place looks really cool. So I'd
it's
say
a big room. Isn't it? I've never been there.
It reminds me of an old school kind of club, right? I mean, nothing fancy. It's dark when you walk in. They got a big bar, and then you got the stage down there, and that's it, man. I mean, no frills. It's just you go in and you rock.
Yeah.
What we want.
So I like that. I think trying to come away from playing bars, but it's tough, and getting into a venue that's dedicated towards music. So anything like that is what we're going to start pushing for here.
Right. When we were younger, I remember, we hit that awkward age where you're 18, but you're not 21 yet, and you have a band and you can't play clubs. So we got kind of like he was saying, we play all ages shows, and then there was a lot of these like kind of pay as you play gigs where you get 20 tickets. If you didn't sell them, you had to pay them for the rest of the tickets. But we were playing all those, those gigs. But what I thought worked for us, which might work for us again, and it has to do with networking, is just find the open mics, get to the open mics, or like you said, those local original nights. And just if you're not going to play, show up, get to know the place, meet the owner, hand out some stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't want to say unfortunately, but that kind of makes the most sense, right? Because as you have seen cover music, at least in my experience, cover music is it's moved in its own little. You've got cover and you have tribute, and for the most part, you're hearing the same music over and over again. So my point about that, unless you conform and become that, I think it's going to be harder. Because take it a guy my age, I'm 57 years old.
Whoa.
I know, dude. That's so old. It's going to take something for me to go out and see music, right?
Yeah.
Band. Yeah. I've either got to know the band, or it's got to be music that I really.
It's not just you, Mike. It's the wife too. It's
it's all those things. So unless you're doing something that the masses love, or something that's completely different, that's unique, and I want to get out and see this band. I mean, you've got to kind of.
Yeah.
You got to make that decision.
Yeah. And it's hard too. It's hard for everyone. It's hard for the promoters. It's hard for the club. Exactly. Because how do you, like, it's easy when you, like, if you're a club owner, you're like, you know what, I'm going to have a 90s night. So you get a Nirvana tribute band, and then maybe have them have a 90s cover band open for them. And you got a whole night. Everyone knows what they're getting. It's all wrapped up in a nice, pretty box. And there you go. With an original band, it's like, we like your songs, but we have no idea what's going to happen here. So just come out, and it's just a whole different thing. And I feel with the open mics, like it worked last time, is you're going in and you're playing in front of them and saying, do you like this? Is this enough to have you give us a shot? Because at the end of the day, at least I feel in the original band, if we get a gig, we're always going to do the best to promote a show. We're going to always do our best to bring an audience, and then once we're there, build an audience.
Right.
And that, and that means you got to have a merch table. You got to have people coming home with something, because if they don't have something to wake up with, they're probably just going to forget you. And it's like, you got to start small though. And I think, doing open mics and, just playing these smaller clubs and just getting in front of people.
I was going to say, I also think that the city, even it's not always not most attractive, not for me, I prefer the suburbs, but the city focuses on live music that's more original.
Yeah.
When you get into the burbs, man, they're like, cover bands and tribute bands. That's what they're booking. So it's harder in the suburbs than it is if you're willing to go into the city, whether it's Martyrs or the Elbow Room or Kitchen. I mean, that's the place where they'll put 3 bands on a bill and say, hey, we'll give you a cut of the door, or see what you can bring in. I think those are that's at least a starting place, I mean, if
it's funny because it's like we've played all those clubs. It's like we got to now try to go back and play them again. It's different because we don't know anyone anymore. I don't know any of the club owners.
Well, that's the hard thing about doing the originals, right? You in your elevator pitch, you got maybe 30 seconds that the owner's going to be paying attention to you, and they say, well, what do you got? Well, we're sort of like this, we're sort of like that, versus like a tribute band. It's like a statement. Okay, great, go on. What's next? How do you deal with that 30 seconds? Like, what's your elevator pitch? Because we got some managers, some bar owners, club owners watching right now. Listen to your pitch. What is it? Mike D,
I would say,
Steve B?
Yeah, Mike D, you're up.
I would say this. I would say this. I think in an era of tribute bands and cover bands, people are wanting something a little different. And I think, Tractorboy is a great band to book. If you have a night and you're looking for 45 minutes to an hour, you want us to open, you need a band to come in, get the crowd going, and bring some new energy. I think bring some original music in when you can. Because not cover bands or tribute bands, but I think people want to hear something different. And I think club owners do too. I think everyone does, but it's hard because there's a business side to this and a music side to this. And everyone's trying to be respectful of all that. But I think, you put us on, you put Tractorboy on any stage for 45 minutes, we're gonna throw down, and the people who are there watching us will be watching us because we will demand their attention.
Yeah.
So
that's it. When you come see us live, you feel like we're a good live band because we bring a lot of energy. But the one thing I would caveat Mike's elevator pitch with is we're respectful. We're going to show up. We're going to respect your club. We're going to respect your staff. We're going to answer emails and phone calls. We're going to be on time. If not, we're going to be early. And if there's an issue, we're going to let you know as soon as we can. So I think that is something that we can bring that maybe not other bands do,
We're
having
seasoned.
Yeah, we're professional,
not being a douchebag. That's a
right.
That's a big plus. That's a big plus.
Yes. It definitely helps. It definitely helps.
Mike and Steve, do you guys talk to any other original bands out there and just say, hey, what's working for you, man? Give us some feedback on this club or this club owner, this agent. What's working for you guys? Do you ever have those conversations?
A little bit. I feel like some of the people I've talked to have been for me, and maybe you guys have seen something different. There tends to be a close hold. Like if your band struck it rich at this club and you like that's your joint, you're like it's a close hold. Trying to get that information out there. But the people that have shared it have said basically you got to grind, you got to do it, and you got to show up and do it.
But there's an old saying, work smarter, not harder, right? And I agree you have to grind, right? You're not going to get in shape if you don't go to the gym.
Yeah.
You got to do that. But there's guys out there, the two that come to mind immediately. We talked about Bob Koza, who not only is a general manager at the Rock House, he's in an original band. He's a strong supporter of original music. You have Tony Angle and Ron Thomas from Blockchain Coalition. They were formerly in Veilside, which is – Veilside had a lot of success in the original. If you don't know who they are, we'll share some information.
Yeah.
But, if you could connect with guys like Bob, Tony, and Ron, and, just pick their brain. The one thing that I have found in talking to fellow musicians, as the older we get, we want to see the music continue, right?
Yeah.
And so, gone are the days where we used to stand there like this and, kind of stick our jaw like, fuck yeah, man, we're going to get up there and blow these guys away. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And part of my mission now in music, and one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is to bring musicians, artists, club owners, agents, everybody together to make this community stronger. And it doesn't matter what type of music it is, whether it's original, whether it's cover, if it's tribute, I don't care, because if we don't champion and be the ambassadors, it's not going to be there. The clubs are going to close, right? I mean, clubs are struggling as it is after COVID. But I think there is in that collaboration, that solidarity, you guys could find at least what may work for you. And again, it's just my advice, and I'd be happy to connect you with those guys. We can provide you that information, but just pick the brain, see what works for them, man.
I have thought about reaching out to the Rock House just to try and put together a bill.
Yeah.
But again, we just need to network more and build up that network so I can go there with something and say, hey, like these three bands have a draw. We might not. We'll open. Mike will clean the bathroom at the end of the night.
Not this Mike. No.
Yeah.
I know what you meant.
Not Bongo Mike.
If the three of us do it, it'll be quick.
That's true.
So it didn't Bob Koza have on that show a couple, I don't know, it's like maybe 5 shows ago or whatever. He did have a way to get a hold of him too on that one. He did.
But I've got his personal number. I'm happy to post it out here and have people call him all the time. I won't do that.
Yeah.
Tell him Dermont sent you.
Well, he said he was looking for a certain format of what he was looking for, and off the top of my head, it was just comes down to your demo reel or your sizzle reel, whatever it is. How long is it? I've always heard it's supposed to be short. He's like, well, Bob says I don't mind it being longer, which is interesting.
I would think and I don't know, I'm the furthest thing from a club owner, but like I would probably want to hear a couple tracks and just make sure that And but everybody says, 30 seconds. You want a 30-second video of you with audience members, so you can see that you've played in front of people and everything worked. So that's kind of that's the formula we're using currently. But yeah.
Wait, what's up with the formula where you're playing in front of the doorman and the bartender?
Well, that's the one we're using currently.
You want to edit that one out?
No, but we all do that. You're opening it up.
Yeah,
It's like, it's like the life insurance business. The first couple of shows, you sign up your friends and family. And once they're done, they get rid of you.
That's it.
It feels that way sometimes. But I think the big thing that now, when we were kids, when we were in our 20s, we just had nothing but passion. It was like, we're going to do this. We want to play. We're going to be musicians. And we did not intelligently look at things and critically analyze a show. We just said, last night we rocked. And we didn't look and say, like, did we sell merch? Which we didn't even have merch when we the first iteration of this band. And it was like, that was it. It was just, did we rock or not? Were we happy? Did the audience cheer real loud? Yeah. And now we're looking at it like, how many people can we bring there on a Friday night? Is it worth it to push, like kind of try to have a plan, execute that plan, and then analyze it after every show, what worked, what didn't. Right. So we don't have that passion. Like, we can't get together 3 nights a week for 3 hours a night and play 2 shows a weekend. Like, we just don't have that capability anymore. But I think with Mike and Raul being very seasoned in terms of playing, and me just being loud, we're kind of
definitely we'll push through. We'll somehow push through.
So yeah, I think smarter, not harder.
You saying smarter? You brought up merch 2 or 3 times. Does anybody make money off of merch?
I mean,
in the sense of,
well, in the sense of, you got to find somebody.
The band.
You got to find somebody that sells it. Then whoever does it, did they rip you off or not? And then the margins, what you paid for and what you sold it for, hopefully you break even on it. But I was just curious if anybody out there has had any luck. I know if you're Aerosmith, merch is huge. But when you're a small band and you're trying to scramble in and out and, oh shit, did somebody rip off all my shirts? Is merch a thing, or do it online? Just curious.
So, but isn't it about, Pete? It's about getting their name out there. It's about getting, whether it's a CD or whether it's a T-shirt. I think it's just about exposure. I think that's what it sounded like you guys were trying to do. It wasn't about making money on the merch.
I've talked to I bought a shirt at a show there's a band I really like called the Atomic Bitchwax, and they're a national band, but they're not super popular. And I love them. They're one of my favorites.
If the T-shirt would fit, I would buy that T-shirt
because of the fucking name, man.
Pete is a large man. This is a big shirt,
and he's very tall. He's a tall man.
If I'm sure they could accommodate.
Okay, continue with the bitch slap shirt.
But so they actually, the Atomic Bitchwax is a band that the guitar player played in Monster Magnet. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Amazing. It's a 3-piece, amazing band. But after the show, I went to buy a shirt, and the bass player was standing there, and I was like, here. It was $30, right? I think, or $25 or whatever. And he didn't have change. I gave him cash, and he was like, I don't have change. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it, man. He's like, cool. This is all going in the gas tank anyway. And so and I've talked to other bands that they don't, especially at festivals and stuff like that, they're not getting paid out what they used to. Mm-hmm. So they rely on merch. And I just think that's it. Like, people aren't as excited about going and seeing live music as they were 20 years ago. Or 30 years ago, it seems like to me.
The younger generation likes DJs. I mean, that's what sells. And our era of people like to go out and see live music. That's what I did when I first turned 21. I went to every single club I could go to and saw as many bands as I could. Yeah. But nowadays it's like, oh, we're gonna go see DJ Jerkoff over here, and he's gonna play for 2 hours.
Hey, I like DJ Jerkoff.
I'm a huge fan of DJ.
You don't want to get too close. Don't get too close.
I bought a DJ Jerkoff shirt.
Here it comes again.
Yeah, actually, I would wear that.
And I'm not knocking it, because there's a spot for it. I actually sat in with a DJ in Highwood and played a couple shows with him where I did live percussion along with him, and that was kind of cool. It was made it different. People came up and said, "Hey, wow, that was cool. I didn't think a DJ have a little bit of a live performance." Not knocking DJs at all, but I think it's that younger generation. They don't want to go and support live music, and that's why, to Mike D's point, there's less clubs. So there's less places that have live music. It's an expense. It's a sound guy. It's lighting. It's selling tickets, selling tables ahead of time. They don't have to do that.
Don't let Al Jorgensen hear you from ministry. I mean, DJs have been a thing for a while. It's just that
100%.
The kids today aren't as angry as we were.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like the early 70s. It's all, no offense, yacht rock and everything is
It's 100%. You're right, because and I've gone to music festivals. I was just at a festival in Florida last year, and they had EDM and they had DJs, and they were awesome. They were great, but after about 45 minutes,
the youth today lives in a digital world. They don't live in the vinyl world we lived in, man. So I think music is more synthetic than it was, if I can use that term. That's what they're accustomed to. Old guys like us, 40 and older, it's more.
40 is a bitch, but it's the alternative use of your time. There are more. There are more choices for kids today, and it's Netflix and chill. I wish I had that back in the day.
Yeah.
I was watching Channel 44 in the squiggly line. You really got
exactly
that one. Continue.
That's right.
Hey Pete, I got a story for you on merchandise and margins. So we printed out shirts a couple of years ago, and I didn't want to do one color shirt, right? I wanted multicolor shirts and double-sided, because I think that's cool. I like having stuff on the back. I like having stuff on the front. It cost me $14 to $15 per shirt, and I sold them for $20. The margin sucked.
Yeah.
People love
actually, the margin didn't suck. The concept sucked. That was your idea, man.
Yeah, too many colors. Well, we do a shirt. It's, one color print, our cost probably around 14. We sell them for $25. It's not a bad it's not a bad profit margin, and we sell a lot of shirts. We sell more, we have vinyl, but the vinyl is just, we knew we were going to have that for a while, but the shirts, we sell quite a few of them, and you just buy more and you just keep cranking through them. The profit you make off the shirts, plus you get your cost back, is really, just going towards the next recording we're going to do. We're just, because now we have an album, we need a second album, you got to build, you're hoping that club owners will book you and you might have a little more time on stage, but that means you need to have more original
But who's
songs.
selling the merch?
Well, usually we have a friend watch the table, and then what'll happen is when the show's done, one of us, whoever's done quickest with getting the cables put away and stuff, they'll rush to the table, and then they'll stand there, and then once the other guy's done, he'll go there and relieve him, and then the drummer, me, usually the last one, because I'm putting everything away, then I'll show up and then send those guys out so they can converse and stuff, and then we'll have someone manning the table all night, and people come up and talk and want to talk about the band. They want to talk about other music, and it's not only a place that I think sell merch, but it's a cool place for people to come to and talk about stuff.
Interacting with the fans.
Yeah.
Can you buy the shirt from your website?
You not yet. We're getting close to that, but the shirts. The only thing you can buy online right now is our record through Spotify, but we're still working out we just got our website up, so we're getting all the merch up there in time, and Steve's going to be making some patches, and that's like another
those should be done.
We'll work out the cost. We'll try to get a 40% margin on it, and we'll sell as much as we can, and it's just we'll just keep going. I mean, I think my whole hope on this is that my feeling is that people want to come back a little bit to the more acoustic side of music, where the amp's doing the talking and the drums are doing the talking, and not everyone's plugged into a computer, and the stage is really quiet and you're not really feeling things sonically. I think that people might want to come back to that. We'll see. We're kind of an experiment of all that, like, can the guys who have all this experience go back out there and try to do original music again? we're gonna find out, but I'm excited.
Well,
Yeah.
these kids that are coming out now, that is there a better term than soft rock? I don't even know what the hell to call it. Like my kid likes it, okay, and I try to get him to listen to punk. I try to get him to listen to early '90s stuff. Forget about it. You know, it's all this really. How do you connect with the audience if you're playing something hard, unless the headline matches what you're playing?
Well, I think with our band is me and Steve try to we're trying to Steve is definitely in his songwriting, when we write songs, we're trying to tell something. We're
Yeah.
trying to tell a story, but more important, like Raul, our guitar player, he's very keen on making sure that we sound sonically good on stage, which means we're
Yeah.
not overpowering each other where it just becomes a noisy mess. So when we do that, our vocals actually sit more on top and actually people can hear us and understand what we're singing about. And I think that, helps out a lot where it doesn't sound like we're just screaming into a microphone, which there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that either. I like that kind of music myself, but we bring more of a storytelling and more of I guess a cleaner singing style to the harder music.
Yeah, and I move around quite a bit on stage. I'm pretty animated. Raul's pretty animated, and he's a wizard. Like if you listen to some of his solos, we have a track called "Don't Shoot, Let 'Em Burn," and he just does things where I'm like, I don't. What even is? My wife was listening. She's like, "What is it? What is he doing? I don't know." And he's just like people. Whenever we play, people go and up to him and film him playing. Because he shreds, but he's not doing the classic kind of thing that I think a lot of shredders do, where they're like, I want to play all the notes. The stuff he's doing makes sense. Like what Mike said, we are very, very into having intention and purpose behind everything we do. And when I write, I text these guys at like 3 a.m. I'm like, I have this idea for a song, and that's why your drums have to go like this, and my bass is going to do this because then I'm going to say this thing here, and they're all connected. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we're entertaining is that everything we're doing has a point behind it. And if you look into it, you can see it. If you just listen to it, and there are people out there that can only hear the music, they can't listen to it. And it's got a good groove and you can move around to it if you want, but the more you dig in, the more we printed pamphlets up that we hand out at shows that just are really weird and
like at the health clinic,
basically, and they have like excerpts of lyrics and pictures that have to do with the song.
Cool. So you can read it while
like
you're
that,
watching,
just trying to connect and trying to connect with the audience. And then talking to them and berating them when they disobey you.
Yeah.
And when they're not being compliant, you really gotta knife hand them sometimes. They appreciate that. Audiences typically appreciate, a command presence. So we try to bring that too.
Excellent.
Well, that was military talk right there, if I ever heard it, right? Knife hand.
Yep.
Well, thank goodness it's not the days of punk, because their appreciation would be they'd spit on you.
Yeah, right.
That's how they show love. Yeah.
Yeah. The days of Gigi Allen.
Yeah.
So Tractorboy, Steve and Mike D. What is the URL? We're talking to Bonnie right now. We're talking to Bob Koza right now. We're talking to all club owners that are hear more about you. Where
do they find you?
Them to?
They could find us at www.tractorboyband.com. That has our music up. We have a live recording we did with Punk Rock Tacos at the Mexican restaurant we were talking about earlier, and because they do shows in the back. So we hired a photographer. I think it's filmed good, but the audio is really good on it. He took like 3 different audio sources and mixed it. So that all has our Spotify. It has our live stuff if you want to see us, and then you could just click on the booking or contact us, and we will get back to you accordingly. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys having us too.
We appreciate you guys coming on and taking
thanks
some
a lot.
time.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate you appreciating us.
There's a lot of appreciation.
Thank you for appreciating, and thank you for that too.
I'm
Steve, I didn't hear any thank you from you. Steve, are you going to
I did
thank
say
somebody?
that you talked over me because you're a rude piece of shit. So
that's right.
There you go. A lot of love in Tractor Boy.
Bongo Mike, you had a show this past weekend in Mount Prospect. We talked about it
I
in the
did. We
pre-show.
played
What do you,
Station 34. You know, we were celebrating Art Scheer's birthday, Agent 126.
Agent
So that was fun.
126.
Yeah, he came up and did 3 songs with us, so that was fun.
Awesome.
And yeah, it was a packed house. It was a good, good show. I mean, I live in Mount Prospect. It's the bar is literally down the street from my house. I could walk to it.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Mike used to work at the Soundpost.
Wow.
That was when you guys mentioned Soundpost, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, holy crap.
Nice.
Downpost.
I worked
was
at the LaGrange,
Yeah.
the LaGrange location. He had 4 locations at one
Yeah.
point, though. He was
Mount
in
Prospect. Great. Yeah. Great place.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, it was fun.
And then
Fun
Mikey
work there.
Dermont, we're catching our breath from the last Coterie. What is this survey that you're putting up? Should we put it right here?
Yeah, let's do the survey. We'll put the link on there. We're looking for our fans, our friends, our family to vote on the next Coterie event, which I don't have the date laid out yet. I don't have anything laid out, but I figured, you know what? We've had such great participation, so much love for these events. Let's let the fans do the talking. So we put out 4 choices. I'm not going to go through it right now because I can't
Yeah, you
remember.
are.
All I know is that Yacht Rock is winning right now. The top 2, it's Yacht Rock. It's original music in Chicago.
Yeah.
We have Canadian bands, and then what was the 4th one?
Tony Orlando.
No,
Stop with the Tony.
no. I feel stupid. I could go look, but there's
Yacht Rock is it. Yacht
Fifth
Rock.
Floor.
People love
Scheer.
Michael McDonald.
I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore.
Yeah. I don't know how that's pop. It just crept in. All of a sudden, Yacht Rock was a thing. And I don't know how I feel about that, if I'm honest.
Okay, so here it is. Icons of Vegas. That was the other one. So it's Icons of Vegas, which is going to be your Elvis and your Celine's and your Wayne Newtons, which, by the way, I love.
Humperdinck.
And then
That's cool.
Bert Humperdinck. So I'll sing you to sleep after the loving. I would do that one. Yeah, that's it, man.
No comedians.
No, unless you want to come on. You
Coterie comedians.
offer in there?
I'm funny, but not that funny.
Hickory dickory dock. See?
Hey.
I have that CD.
Yeah, so that's it. So stay tuned for that. We'll make an announcement on what that show is going to be. And like I said, it's probably not going to take place until fall. I usually give myself 6 months between every event. It gives me enough time to kind of recharge my battery and get the creative juices flowing.
Well, I'd love to see what you're going to do with Yacht Rock. Mikey Bongo, I know you just got done, but anything coming up in the future that we can point to?
Just the soundtracks of a generation. We're going to be doing the Joe Cocker show at the Arcada Theater on February 23rd. And then, of course, concert for Gordy, Broken Oar, the 16th of February, 2 p.m. or 1 p.m.
Yeah, that's 2 p.m. It's going to be an acoustic show, and it's a celebration of life for our buddy Gordy, who passed away several weeks ago.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wheel out some cajones and some djembes and
Cajones.
things that people can't pronounce.
You know, Mike and Steve, that's something you might want to check out. We're doing this thing. It's a celebration of life for a guy who, he followed live music, was a huge fan. And we're going to be celebrating his life on the 16th of February at the Broken Oar. If anything, it's a great way to get out and meet people. There'll be a lot of musicians there participating. It'll be a great networking event.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I'll definitely put that on my calendar.
Absolutely.
We can personally meet you and buy you a beer.
Oh, likewise.
See?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I enjoy drinking beer, so.
Hey, one last question. What happened to Brixie's? Why did that place close?
Well, so the owner, he went from it being that Brixie it was a 4 a.m. bar, but he turned it over to a brewery. So he gutted it and put some brewery equipment in there.
Yeah.
And it's settled down a bit. It's not a 4 a.m. bar anymore. It's kind of settled down.
Yeah.
Way
Nice
less
place,
bad
but it's different.
Yep.
Cool.
Tractor Boy, Steve.
Tractor
Tractor Boy.
Hey,
we're back.
Thanks for coming on the Hogpod podcast.
Thank you for having us, guys. Really appreciate
that?
it.
We really appreciate this.
Great to meet you guys.
That's the train leaving town.
That's the internet breaking. I think we just did it once again.
All right. Take care, guys.
Tell y'all later.